All right, you grasshoppers. We lost one of our main companions there, the mysterious Robbie Sherwood. All right, grasshoppers. So we mentioned the other day that we've got some exciting news coming. You've seen me on my podcast before with Patrick Barr, the former Navy SEAL, who's been very insightful talking about teams and what it meant to be on a team and leadership and leaving the teams and all that stuff. And we'll be doing more of that. But a guy who has really meant a lot to me in my life and I've learned a lot from is Robbie Sherwood. We got Robbie's had a little bit of technical problems here, so we got this mysterious picture of him up there. Looks like a caveman, but Robbie works for New York Sports Club in Stamford, Connecticut. He and I have known each other for a long time. And when I was going to go on Survivor, Robbie worked with me a lot about the connection between my mind and my body. I think some of you guys have heard me talk about how he would get me to memorize poems. Just the fact he got me to say a poem at all was a big move. But he would have me memorize these poems, and he would elevate my heart rate and how that would affect my memory and be able to recite the poems again. So that's an example of some of the stuff Robbie did, but we'll talk more about that. But so Patrick Barr, welcome again, Robbie. Good to see you, or at least your funky picture there. Good. All right. So the exciting news is, so in 2 weeks, we are going to start a training program. It's both go through a mental and physical training program. And then at the end of that 3 weeks, we are going to have what we call a Ruck. Ruck it's not limited to, but it's primarily a military term. And I'll let Patrick and Robbie talk about that some more. So again, in 2 weeks, we'll start this 3-week online training program that anybody can participate in, any age group, conditioning level. And then at the end of that 3 weeks, in our area here someplace, we will have an actual Ruck. And we'll be able to live stream that so people that if they're not in the area, they can still participate in it while we're out in the Ruck. And then we'll have a 2-week follow-up program after that. So Patrick, why don't you, in your military terms and your background, what is a Ruck?
Yeah, so a Ruck's it's a backpack with weight. So in BUD/S, you would have a 35-pound rucksack, and you would have to run for however many miles, 7 miles, whatever it was. So yeah, it's a backpack with weight in it.
So the Ruck is not the actual the exercise. It is the backpack.
That's right. Yeah, it's the backpack.
Okay.
Yep.
And then when you carry the backpack, the Ruck, in some kind of an exercise, is there a title for that exercise, or is that all just part of
rucking?
Okay,
yeah,
rucking.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Okay, good. And Robbie, you've had some experience with this stuff too. You actually participated in it. Wasn't like an 8-hour Ruck you participated in?
It was a 12-hour overnight Ruck through the streets of Hartford.
Wow. And that was a little bit different, right? You guys did a whole bunch of, it wasn't just carrying the backpack. It was,
no. Yeah. We had, the standard was 35 pounds and you had to keep that on your back the whole time. Plus we went through different, areas and we had to pick up different implements, one of them being a telephone pole. And we took that for about 2 miles. We had to carry each other. And just some overall strategic planning, getting from point A to point B with people in the air or water jugs. All of our hydration was on us. Wow. So we had 5-gallon jugs on top of our Rucks. All so right. About 30 people.
So we'll get to that some point here in our Ruck. But to start with, our Ruck is probably going to be, we're looking at around 3 hours, I think. Correct, guys?
Yeah.
3 hours makes sense. And again, we want to make sure, especially this first one, that this is really, we want to make sure that everybody at all conditioning levels and all ages feel comfortable in this. And we will do the rucksack by either putting like 5 pounds in the rucksack or 50 pounds in the rucksack. We'll even it out based on somebody's conditioning level. But we want this to be something that people really get like if people haven't exercised a whole lot, this is something they feel comfortable doing. People that have exercised a lot, maybe we're pushing it to a whole new level. And a big part of, I think if you've seen my stuff with True Grit Life, and I know Patrick and Robbie feel the same way, a big part of training and life and fighting through things and accomplishing things is that mental part of it, right? We talk about so much where it's probably 70% of the success you have and dealing with any failures or struggles And that's going to be a big part of our training here too. So it won't be just the physical part, but it'll also be the mental part as well. So and Patrick, when you guys do the rucking in military, is that more of a conditioning thing, or do they incorporate the mental training as well?
Oh, it's mental as well. It's so Hell Week's 5 weeks in Buds, and I think on Monday night of Hell Week they make you put that rucksack on, and I mean, I can't even tell you how many times we ran 3 miles down and 3 miles back with that rucksack on. Every time you finished up, you thought you were done, and then they were like, "Do it again, do it again." So yeah, no, it was mental and physical.
Did they load up different weights on yours based on conditioning, or everybody had the same weight?
Everybody had the same weight. So you had to. Basically, you took like a sandbag and weighed it with 35 pounds, and everybody had that. Good
deal. And Robbie, I've talked to a lot of people ever since Survivor, and you and I trained with the mental part of it. I know like you've trained for a long time and you're certified in all the physical training, but the mental part of the training is something that you kind of taught yourself in a lot of ways, correct?
That's correct. Right. I've learned that the physical part you could teach anybody, but learning the mental game is really where the bread and butter is, because if you're not mentally ready to step foot on a fitness journey, then I don't care what exercise I throw at you, you're not going to be able to be successful.
And what I think what we want to accomplish too is that you're right. It's very important, that mental thing to do physical training, but hopefully this stuff will really help people in their everyday lives too, in their relationships or at work, trying to accomplish any goals that they want to accomplish. Correct?
That's correct. Yeah. If you're pushing against a heavy weight, that's putting stress on your body. It's the same stress that you deal with at work or in a relationship. You have to learn how to push that weight away. Same as you have to learn how to deal with a boss that's tough, or tough things in your relationship that we've all gone through.
Sure. It's funny. I've told people this story so many times. Robbie would, again, to kind of expand on the story, he would have me memorize this poem, and I could say it verbatim. And then he would do something. He'd either aggravate me, which he's very good at, or he'd have me ride a bike or do something to elevate my heart rate. And then he would have me try to recite the poem again. And inevitably, I just could not remember the poem like I did at the start. And just the fact that I was able to recognize that at first was like, wow, I played, in the National Hockey League for 11 years. I didn't realize that was happening to my body, and then how to control that. And in my case, it was just this deep breathing that we practiced over and over. And when I went out and played on Survivor, it was interesting because, and again, it wasn't just the physical part. It was more in the day-to-day dealings. So I'm the old man out there, and they're calling me pops and dad, and you got all these 20-year-olds around camp, and they're 20-year-olds. They're saying things that you're looking at as an older person. You're going like, oh my God, can you please just shut up, but that would obviously hurt me in my game if I kind of took that approach. And I was able to, through the training that Robbie showed me, to slow myself down, calm down, and just accept what was going on and deal with it. So it did me a lot of good. So, all right, guys. So that's our program. So again, we're going to, in about 2 weeks here, we're going to start the online. And again, will be a lot of notice coming up here about how to participate, how often the programs are going to happen on a daily basis, every other day, whatever. We'll let you know all that stuff going forward. Now, at the end of that 3-week pre-training program, we will have the ruck in this area. We will go rucking, I guess is the right way to say it. Yep. And then we're going to make sure that even if people aren't able to attend it in person, we'll do it on Facebook Live so that everybody can participate as well. And then once that's completed, we'll then have a 2-week follow-up program to make sure that everybody, learns from what they participated in and how they can just continue on with the rest of their life. So again, really happy to have Patrick Barr, former Navy SEAL, and Robbie Sherwood, excellent trainer, not just in the physical part of things, but the mental part of things as well. So big team here, and we're all fired up about this. So big weekend for me this weekend too. And I've got to be a little bit careful, I guess, Patrick, right? I'm going down to Virginia Beach to participate in a charity hockey game with a bunch of Navy SEALs down there. They know how to get to me. When they asked me to go down and play, they said to me, Tom, we're going down to play with some Navy SEALs. And Tom, half these guys don't exist, and I'm like all backed up thinking I'm going and all this stuff. So it's exciting for me too. So, all right, guys. So I'm very excited. I know Robbie and Patrick are too as well about this ruck that we've got planned. And again, we really want this to be something that, yes, it's a physically challenging thing. You'll learn a lot, but it's also going to be something that mentally you're really going to grow a lot in this too. So there's our guys, Patrick Barr and Robbie Sherwood. So we'll be back at you again soon, guys, with more details. Have a good weekend.
Right. Thanks.